Amazing. So, welcome everyone. it's lovely to see you. So, this session, the Monday sessions, will be dedicated to doing Tai Chi Chuan. So, it'll feed really nicely in for those who do the Sunday ones as well, where we do the internal kind of energetic work. This now feeds into doing the Tai Chi aspect, which is more the martial aspect. So, in my school where I learned, there's four forms that you do. So there's the Lao Jia Ilu, Lao Jia Erlu, which is the two old forms, so the old form 1 and 2. And then there's the Shinja Erlu and Ilu, which is the new form. So you do these over a really long period of time. Um, but I mean, people do 10, 15 forms, and as my teacher used to say, they never actually do Tai Chi because the Tai Chi isn't just doing the form, the Tai Chi is the way you move, so the movement. So, what we're gonna do is, as well as learning the choreography or the sequence of movements, we're gonna really focus in and do different exercises to really help us move in a certain way. So, we're gonna start off doing the first form that we learn, and learn that. They're all quite long forms, so we'll see how it goes. And then um, every 4 weeks, so 3 weeks we'll do the form, and then every 4 weeks we'll focus more on self defense. And we'll do a week of self defense where it's more active. We learn kind of doing punches. It'll still be fairly gentle on the body, but we'll learn kind of more dynamic how we move still with the principles. So um, I'm really excited, but let me know how you guys feel. Just give me some feedback how you're feeling, and we can kind of work as well with what you guys want to do. Um, Great, so we'll just start off coming to standing, and you can just take your hand or both hands on the belly, and we're just gonna, to start off our practice, we're just gonna take 6 breaths out. So we're just gonna take our time with each breath. So when we inhale, we just take our tummy all the way out, inhale our tummy outwards, and then just using the muscles to just contract the air out. So you can do it through the mouth or the nose, whatever feels most comfortable, and just giving ourselves the time for each. So in your own time. And I just forgot to mute you guys. I always forget to do this. So just so that the sound is good for everyone, I'll just mute you. Great. So when you're ready again in your own time, just breathing, inhaling, and the stomach comes out, and then we just exhale, contract. Great. And this is just to kind of get rid of everything, preparing us for the practice. So before we actually get into doing any of the forms, today we're just going to go from the very basics and start with the structure. But before we do that, we'll just do a quick warm-up. So just taking the arms up and then hitting the legs, massaging the legs at different points as we come down. So without really any force. So from the side. And just really letting the body relax, letting the shoulders go, letting everything come all the way down. And then we can alternate. And just letting the legs bounce, letting the body become more and more relaxed. Great. And then what we'll do is we'll just completely relax the arms. So just completely let go, and from the center we move from side to side. So really releasing any tensions from the shoulders, and letting it come from the center line here. So my upper body is twisting and the arms just let themselves go. That looks good. And then we lift from the legs, so again the arms don't do anything, and we just lift up from the legs, and the arm comes and massages our shoulder on the opposite side. So just letting our arms nice and loose. And maybe feeling which muscles want a bit of a massage or a bit of a beating down, I guess. If it's more to the back, taking it further. If it's more the muscle here, just gently letting the arm fall. And when you're ready, taking it up even further. And then just letting, as it comes down, letting it fall. Giving some momentum. Great. And then we'll shake out the feet, so just shaking each leg pretty gently. You can even shake it out a little like this. That feels good, but as if you're shaking off the foot. Sorry, shaking off a shoe on your foot, or shaking off some water that you have on the shoe. And maybe taking it up further, so taking up the knee and then the foot. And then we can lift the knee, take it all the way around and shake it out. So again, just being super gentle with the joints. We're just opening the hips. And then taking it to each side. And finally to the back. And you can let go of the arms and just let them hang nice and gently. And when we're done, we can stretch out the sole of the foot, so the weight's in this front leg here, and then we just take it back a little bit, stretching out that foot, stretching out the toes. So one foot here is the toes are facing forwards towards you guys, and the other foot here is facing the other foot. And then we can just take our legs back and shake them out. So today we're gonna do some work and study a little about the structure, so the structure of the body, and how it's supposed to be, so that we can maintain that during all the movements and the form. So the structure really is, the theory is that there's 3 arches. So we have, the first arch is our legs. So really what we want is here our feet to be around shoulder width apart for this one, and we just want the weight 50-50 and our feet really rooted to the ground. And then we don't want this to be a triangle, so if I stand up straight you can maybe see there's a bit of an edge, but here if I empty my hips, if I really relax and sit as if I'm sitting on a tall bar stool, then there's more of a rounded structure here. So this is our first arch, or kind of our bow shape here. And what we want to do at the same time is just tuck our tailbone under, because our second arch is our spine, going from under the tailbone all the way up. So we want there to be kind of a hollow space here in front, if that makes sense. And the third arch is our arms. So as we build on this, it'll make more and more sense. We always want there to be a volume here under our legs, a volume in front of us, and then a volume in the arms. And we want the 3 arches to be welded together, really. We want them to be really good, kind of connected, well connected. So we're just going to do a quick exercise welding the 3 arches in our mind. So if you come to this posture, the feet around shoulder width, that's looking good. Nice. And the shoulders come forward slightly, so where the shoulders, rather than being in line, they just very gently come forward, and our tailbone is tucked under. And then we can close our eyes. And we can feel the first arch, the arch of our legs. Rooted into the ground, going all the way up our legs. And coming together. And then we just want to take our attention to the arch of the spine, relaxing the shoulder. At any point if this posture feels like too much or it's getting stiff, you can take the arms down by the side, relax them until it feels good again. So if there's any tensions, no worries. So taking the attention back to the arch of the spine or the bow. And just feeling as if there's a string at the top of the head just slightly pulling up, and the rest of the body just relaxes down. And the third arch or bow is our arms, feeling the strength. And then we can take our attention to where the bow of the legs or the arch of the legs and the arch of the spine meet. And with our mind we can weld them together so that they become one thing. Using the mind to weld. And then taking the attention to the place where the bow of the spine and the bow of the arms meet. And with our mind, with the intention, welding those two together so that they become one thing. And if you feel any tensions in the shoulders, arms, or the body, you can briefly take your attention there and imagine the tension sinking down towards the ground. And you can just imagine the whole body sinking down as if your arms and your legs are being held up, maybe by water or by chair, allowing your body to relax as if it's being held. And then one last time, taking your attention to the 2 points where the arches meet. First to where the legs and the spine meets, the arch of the legs and the arch of the spine. And then where the arch of the back and the arch of the arms, or the bow of the arms. When you're ready, taking the arms down And again, we can just swing the arms. So this posture is a really common posture, a really common exercise that's used a lot. Probably some people are familiar with it already, to train the structure of the body, to train how we want to move, where the spaces we want to have in the body should be, etc. When you're ready, you can take it up. And up again. And then just shaking the body out. Shaking out the legs and the hips. And just shaking out the feet again. Great. So there's a few postures that we train, and I'm going to show you the first one, which is called Mabu. This one is used to really train the legs and also to start opening all the joints in the hips. So again, we come to a standing position with our legs around shoulder width, and then we want to create a kind of rounded shape with the hips. So our knees are slightly bent, but we don't want to just bend the knees more, but we want to empty these hip points here, and as a consequence the knees bend. I don't know if you can see the difference, so even try it for yourself. Just what it feels like to just bend the knees, and then what it feels like to really empty these points, these hip points, and round them, and coming to kind of a sitting position. Do you guys feel a difference there? So from the side, thanks Caroline, from the side, if I was just to bend my knees, it would look maybe like this. And then if I just want to relax the hip points here, I would just empty them and it would come down. Does that make sense? I hope that's clear. So it might feel a bit strange at the start, because we're used to standing and kind of having these hip points full, so to say, and then when we empty them, all the weight goes down through the legs, through the soles of the feet. So we're just going to train a certain posture, which is if we take the weight onto the right leg and just open it up slightly. So everyone can judge for themselves how you are with your body at the moment, how wide you want to go. You could go wider, or some people might just be slightly wider than shoulder width. It just depends on how you're feeling. And again here, importantly, I don't want to be standing with my hips full. I want to just empty so that I'm in a seated position. So really as if I'm sitting down, you can really imagine like you're sitting on a stool, and you want the knees to be facing out, and you want the whole sole of the foot to be on the ground. So I don't really want the insides of my foot to be coming off the ground. I want my whole foot to be really rooted, and then it doesn't really matter how low we are, just as long as we release here and we're seated. So we don't want to hurt the joints. We do want to train the legs, so you might feel a little bit of burning in your thighs here. So we want to still feel this volume, still feel this arch. And then we'll just take the arms up, similar to how we did, and then just face our hands out. So my elbows are in line with my knees, and they're facing each other, so my elbows are facing down, and my knees are facing up and out. And then we can take one arm and look to the other side, and then do the same. So this is Mabu, and then we can close, shake out the legs if you need. So this is one of the postures that you see in a lot of the figures in the form. So we'll just do it again. So really rounding out, taking the weight into one foot and coming, and then just taking an extra second to make sure that we're seated and that our tailbone is slightly under. So the reason why we want these 2 points to connect is to connect, why we want to really be seated and to have our tailbone under, is to connect the top and the bottom half of the body. So for example, if I'm not seated, if I move the top part, the bottom part is separate. We want them to move as one thing. And then we take our arms wide and to the side. So we also want a volume here, we want space. And then we can take the weight to one foot, one side, take the toes out from that side, and then take the weight here. So the weight is on the front foot, and I'm still seated, and then I just twist my upper body. And then I can come back, both feet facing forwards, the weight goes to the other leg, and I can sit down again, great, and then taking it back in. So does everyone feel it? Everyone should be feeling it in their legs. Everyone feeling it? Good. So it's really important to train our legs for the form so that we're prepared to open especially the hip joints so that we can do the form more easily. So I'm going to start by teaching you one of the first movements, and we're just going to start by taking our arms out and then down. So just to come a bit closer, our pinkies face up And then as we come down, our shoulders rotate and our thumbs. So taking it out and then having the thumbs up. That looks really good. So relaxing the shoulders and the arms. So as we come up, we're expanding the body, the pinkies face up, and as we come down, we're contracting the body. A really big part of the Tai Chi movement is the alternation between the expansion and the contraction of the body. So we can expand, our pinkies are up, and contract. And we expand and contract. And now when we expand, we can inhale. And when we contract, we can exhale. And inhale. And then exhale. So this shoulder rotating, inhaling is very similar, and exhaling is very similar to the first move. So the first move of Tai Chi is that we actually do it to the front. So the pinkies face up, and then the shoulder rotates still, and we come down. So we expand and come up, and contract coming down. So expanding, we can inhale, and contracting, exhale. Expanding, pinkies are up, we have space, and exhaling. And as we come down, we take the arms down, we can just sink in a little lower, so sinking the weight all the way down. And just inhaling and exhaling. And then we can come back to the side. So inhaling, exhaling all the way, all the air out of the lungs. And then inhaling, breathing it all the way in, as much air as you can. And then exhaling all the air out of the lungs. And inhaling again. And then exhale. And exhale even more. And for the last time, inhaling and exhaling. So the first move, the opening sequence of the old form, the first old form, we start with our feet together, just standing upright. The knees are always slightly bent. And then we take the knee up, and we take it all the way round down to around shoulder width, place it and turn. So we start here, our arms are at the sides of our bodies, our shoulders are relaxed, our knee comes all the way up to the side, we take the heel down, and then just like we did, we expand, and then we contract. So that's the first move, and this is the closing move. Great. And what we can do now is we can come back to our stance, emptying the hips, feeling that rounded sensation, and then coming to our larger posture again. Having our arch, and then taking the weight. So in Mabu, we always have the feet around parallel, so they don't have to be particularly parallel, but I don't want my feet, for example, to be facing in opposite directions, so they're around parallel, and we just want to relax those hips, hip points, take it to the side, and then take it back, take it to the other side, just turning the waist so our hips stay facing forward, and we just turn the waist. And then we come back, training our legs, and we just have the visualization of having a plate full of water on the head. So keeping the head nice and tall. And then we bring the legs together. And this time we can come hip width apart. Taking our arms out. And this time having the posture here. And then from the center, we rotate and our arms twist. So if you can see, my arms don't really change shape, but as my center moves, my hands come into this kind of a position. So just showing you here, so one arm is just, my left arm is just in this cup position here, and the other arm is here, so as if I would be holding an elbow. This would be holding the wrist, and this would be holding the elbow. So coming from this position, we twist from the center, and then we lift the leg and step forward. That looks really great. I'll do it a few times with you, and then I'll have a look. So taking it to the side. So just taking our volume here, and then with the center, we twist the arms, and then all the weight goes to the front foot. We take the knee up, and then step forward. That looks really good. So we want to have So for you, Zoe, just having the palm face more, so I don't really want to be doing this. I want to have it more as if, yeah, perfect. That looks really good. And Caroline, you can just imagine that it's just an arm's length that you're holding there, so yeah, perfect. So just coming back. Taking it to the side. Twisting from the center. So my center does, so from here, my center, I twist in this way, and my left hand goes from facing forward to facing upwards, and my right hand just moves slightly, so just it's still facing forward, my palm is facing forward, but yep, Caroline, that looks perfect. Maria's looking good. Yep, Verona, that looks fab. Yep, sorry, perfect. So, one last time. Taking it forward. From the center, moving. Taking our leg up. That looks great. And then we're here. Fab. Tara, that looks great. And then just taking it in. Fab. And we're just gonna shake and come back to our warm-up. So just now using it to cool, release any tensions from the body. So if it feels good, you can tap the shoulders as you come up, giving them a little massage. And then we can alternate. And then you can interlace the fingers, take them all the way up, and just twist. And as you twist to the left, just inhale, and as you twist to the right, exhale. Going at whichever speed feels right. And when you're ready, creating some tension between the fingers, so pulling your arms apart but just keeping them together with the tension in your fingers, creating nice space in the shoulders, between the ears and the shoulders, and at a certain point they come together. Great. And we'll just finish. By taking the arms, rotating all the way up. And up. Further, so just keeping the head where it is. We don't want to make space. So I don't really want to be doing this or this. And when you're ready, just shaking the body, shaking the legs, shaking at the hips. Shaking the whole body and the legs. Great. And just to finish, we can do our breath, so taking our hands on our bellies, inhaling, our stomach comes out, exhaling, we push in with force. So inhaling, and when you're ready, doing it again. So pushing all the air you can out of the body. And then we can close. Great. So nice job, everyone. In these sessions, we'll be working with a combination of building strength. So if that felt like a lot for the legs, don't worry, it will build quicker than you think. And we'll also be working with the different concepts. So if it felt like a lot just now with the arches, I really recommend, if you have some time throughout the week, just to really practice. You can do this one, you can do any of the things we did, even if you just spend a little bit of time thinking about it, thinking about what we did, and just training slowly with time. It really transforms the way we move and the body, and we can build up with all these different things. So it'll be really great. So that might have been a lot. So is there any questions from anyone? Yes.
Okay. And I was wondering, when we were doing this, and then the leg came up, went down. Again, is it does the heel go out to the side, and then when you place it, do you place it forwards? I think you mentioned that in the previous one.
So when we're here, and then we move, and then so basically we want to come round, so that would be as if we're tripping someone up, and then the heel comes down first, but the foot just faces forward straight away basically, and we come here, and that'll be one of the moves. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Rona, did you have a question too? Oh, you're muted. Yeah, so just if you press on the little microphone. Oh, sorry, I may have muted you, so ask to unmute.
Is that better?
Yes.
You know, doing this, my knee got a bit sore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe got it in the wrong position.
So I can't see your legs from this angle. If you tilt your phone down. Perfect, yes.
Yeah. So it was like in this,
Mm-hmm.
back in there. But when you turned, just, you know, when you said keep your feet ahead, but turn.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, that was potentially a little bit unclear. So we actually don't want to keep the feet ahead. We want to keep them fairly parallel to each other. So
right.
as we turn, yeah, we actually want to take the feet towards the side that we're turning to, and then our hips kind of face this way.
Right.
And then we just turn the weight.
Got it.
Does that make more sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I was feeling a bit uncomfortable on my knee to keep it.
Yeah, it definitely would. And just making sure not to take the knees over the toes. So if it feels like too much being too low or something, just always taking it up, letting the hips open up with time and strengthening.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Great. Great. Caroline? Yes.
I just want to thank you. I mean, you're on my TV screen here, so I'm going to talk to Nellie here. I want to thank you for the precision with which you're describing the movements, because I feel like it really makes a difference. Like the nuance makes a difference, and you're teaching the nuance. So I'm really soaking it in, and please keep it up. I love it.
Thank you.
And you look like you're a bird. The way your hand movements finish, and so I want to do that. You know, like you were saying, I want to be engaged to the whole flow, not just the technique.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thanks, Caroline. Great. How do people feel? I'm just curious about how people feel about doing the more kind of self-defense type things once a month. Do people feel good, or people are a bit unsure? If you have anything you want to say, also feel free just to email me this week as well. Also this week, if you are feeling like you're more interested in the internal work and all the really fundamental principles of the energy work, which is on the Sundays, this would be a good time to switch if you want to switch. Just because that way, especially if you're not doing 2 days and don't have access to the recordings, that way you won't have missed much, and it's no problem to switch as well. So just let me know, that's all totally fine. And feel free as well to just come along and see which one feels better and do a little test. Sweet, so we're just gonna do a little closing meditation, not a long one. It'll be a little bit of breathing. So for those who would like to stay, feel free to just make yourself comfortable. Get really cozy. If you want a blanket or a cushion. And then, if possible, just feeling the spine, each vertebrae, you can just feel it really gently extend, as if you're really gently being pulled from the top of your head, giving yourself space. Just allowing yourself to settle. So you can imagine like a leaf falling or a feather, something light, maybe even a raindrop. Allowing yourself to just ground. And then just feeling the center of the body, so feeling right in the center, as if there's a line going through the center of the body. So through the top of the head, all the way through and down into the ground. And you can visualize from the ground taking a deep inhale. And as you inhale, taking the breath up to however far it goes in the body. So inhaling from the line in the ground for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then holding for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhaling down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the air out. And your attention is in the ground. And then inhaling 4, 5, 6, all the way up the body. Holding for 1, 2, and then exhaling for 6, 3, 2, 1. So in your own time, inhaling all the way up, maybe it comes up past your head, holding, and then exhaling. All the air out, all the way into the ground. And one more time, inhaling, all the way up, holding, and exhaling. All the way into the ground. And then just breathing naturally. Becoming aware of the body and how it sits in space. So feeling both sides, using the sensation in each side and comparing to the other. Starting with the head. See if you can, from the inside, sense whether it's tilted to one side or back or forward. And there's no need to adjust unless it feels right, but just noticing. And then moving down to the shoulders, just sensing both sides relative to each other. Seeing whether one feels tighter, if it feels tight at all, or maybe one side feels like it's lying higher, just seeing what sensations. And then as you move to the chest, you can take a really big inhale, filling the whole chest. So tucking the stomach in, taking the biggest inhale you can, stretching all the muscles between the ribs. And then exhaling. And again, inhaling with the stomach tucked in, making the chest really, really big, stretching all the muscles between the ribs, and exhaling. And one last time. Inhaling and exhaling. And you can take your attention to the hips. Relative to one another. Feeling any tightness. Or any openness. And just knowing that it's very normal. Just being really gentle and kind as you explore the knees and the ankles. And when you're ready, taking a last deep inhale. And exhale. And you can open your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes. You can stretch or move the body however feels good.